Has our inventory problem been solved? Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's up, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It is Today in Mortgage. Rich, we are back after a little bit of a hiatus. We had 4th of July week, and then there was a little storm here in Houston that knocked out power for 2.5 million people and our office. So glad to be back with you, Rich. How you been?
Yeah, I've been better than you. We're hot here in Arizona, but you can't complain when you see what's happening in Houston.
We are recovering here, and we're excited to get back on the airwaves with all our listeners and viewers out there. And today, like I said at the top of the show, we're talking about inventory, Rich. And Rich, this is something we've been looking at a lot. So just tell me what the problem is briefly before we get into the article we're going to talk about today, what that problem's been over the past, 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, not enough inventory.
Right.
That's really been the problem. And for all the reasons we've discussed in the past.
So some of those reasons have just been builders not building ever since the financial crisis in 2008. Obviously, credit is very expensive right now, so people aren't borrowing to build. It's just been a real problem. People aren't moving. Why are people not moving, Rich? Why are they not moving?
Well, they don't want to give up. They're locked into lower interest rates wherever they are. There's all kinds of scenarios.
Yeah, and at the top of the show, I said, is our inventory problem solved? And the reason I teed it up like that is because we're looking at articles today from CNBC.com. It says, suddenly it looks like there are too many homes for sale, but then it disclaims it and says, here's why that's not quite right. So, Rich, tell us real briefly, overview, what are we looking at here in this article? What is this headline all about?
There's not enough inventory where we need it, right? There's not enough inventory in that $400,000 and below. There's none of that, actually. So that's where all of your first-time home buyers, all of the young millennials and older Gen Z, that's what they're needing for starter homes, and there's just none of those. You see inventory is on the rise, and properties are staying on the market much longer at $1 million or more, but you just limit your borrowers, your buyer opportunity when it gets into that range.
So let's get into some of the specifics here, Rich. You talked about that time on the market. There is currently in this article, it says a 4.4 month supply of both new and existing homes for sale. I think that's an average by National Association of Home Builders. Let's talk about what that breakdown looks like, because there's another stat in here that says new construction now makes up 30% of total inventory, which is twice the historical share. So you mentioned, new home builds are happening outside the city. A lot of people are wanting to live inside the city. So there's just, the homes are not where buyers really necessarily want to be. And the prices of homes are out of whack with the people in those areas of what they can pay.
There's just not the properties for first-time home buyers. That's the bottom line. Not enough of those.
Let's talk about real quick before we get out of this. Some of the problems we mentioned are inventory, but also interest rates affecting inventory. We had some reports come out, and the Fed came out with some comments over the past week. Tell us a little bit what's going on in the markets.
Well, I mean, CPI came in this morning lower than expected, which is great for us great for all of us, right? Anytime we get an inflation number that's lower than expected, that's great news for everybody concerned. If you watch the news recently, Fed Chairman Powell was in his congressional testimony, and of course they all get, it's mostly a political circus, but you do get a good sense of where the Fed is during his testimony and the language he uses. We've said this many times. They parse every single word he uses and try to, extract something out of that. And some of the things he said is that we don't want to be too tight for too long. And that wasn't language he was using just 30 days ago. So now with the softening employment market, the softening inflation, all of these things are tying up. I just heard on CNBC 5 minutes ago before we started recording this that they say now there's a 95% chance of a Fed rate decrease in September. You remember, I think the last time we recorded one of these, Michael, a couple weeks ago, we were at like 0% chance or very little in September. We were talking about November. And here we are, just a couple of sentences out of Powell's, and his testimony changes the entire outlook.
I just want to go back to the article that we're talking about today and looking at inventory. If we have a rate cut in September, maybe it gets a little bit cheaper to build, cheaper to buy. It's going to cause different problems. Inventory is probably going to go down again because those rates go down. More people want to get back into the market. But let's just talk about, all things considered, where inventory is heading, how we feel about that. Are we still feeling good about builders wanting to build right now and their ability to build?
100%.
Mm.
I mean, if you're a builder, the next 10 years, it's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything looks up. They're going to have to throttle, they're going to have to manage it carefully, not push too many products. If I'm a builder, it's my business, and I don't want to put too much out there to sit for too long, because obviously that costs money for a builder, not just to build it, the labor costs and everything, and all of involved, but you're paying interest. That money's not coming out of their pocket. They're borrowing that money to build those homes at higher interest rates today. So they have to be careful that homes don't sit for too long. So more inventory is coming. The lock-in effect of these low interest rates, that's going to diminish because people need to move, families grow, lots of things happen, that now as the interest rates come down, more people are going to be into the market. So it's just going to be choppy for the next probably 2 or 3 years. It's going to be pretty choppy as interest rates start to come down. You're going to start to see, resale homes come on the market as opposed to new build. You're going to see more and more of those, which is great opportunity for everybody. I look at it as I'm very positive for the future. If I'm a builder, I'm even more positive because their business outlook looks huge. We need so many more homes built, millions of homes built.
Yeah, Rich, and one of the things too is that it feels like this is such a hot button issue that on both sides of the aisle, people want to kind of pull back on those regulations that's creating red tapes for builders. And so hopefully we'll see more of that in the coming years. Rich, any final words you have to say on this?
You're right, Michael. Shelter is not a political issue. And we need to do everything we have to do to make it easier for home builders to build, make it easier for people to put their homes on the market for resale and move on. And that means lower interest rates. We're not going to see 3% or below, but let's see 5.5%. That opens up so much more affordability for a lot of home buyers, which will only make things better for everyone.
We will leave that there. This is great analysis, Rich. I appreciate your time today. Appreciate everyone out there watching and listening. If you want more great content like this and you are a loan officer or a mortgage professional out there, click the grow link below and we'll show you how to be a part of the best network in mortgages and get coaching like this every day from Rich and other professionals inside of our company. Thanks so much, everybody out there, for watching, listening, wherever you are. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today in Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.